If you just focus everything on product, being a people person, so don't be an asshole, people like you, and then having an actual purpose that matters, that people can resonate with, you'll never fail.
I don't know how you feel about having the second coolest hat of the session, but it's pretty good anyway.
It's all right. I got mine, I think 48 hours before yours, so that makes me the OG, and you the copycat.
That makes me the copycat. You sent a grand Cardone quote that, by the way, I do agree with, but do you want to address the Cardone quote and how you've been using it for Cashie?
Yes. So the Cardone quote, and I'm going to butcher it, but he says that nobody can beat his frequency no matter what, which means he's everywhere all the time. He's got the most. I think it's
your creative won't beat my frequency.
Right, something like that. Yeah, exactly, actually. And I've taken that to heart. And for me, been tweeting, if anybody follows me, I think between engagement, retweets, and actual tweets, probably 30 times a day. Because I retweet all day, I'm engaging all day, and then I tweet as well 3 to 4 to 5, maybe more times a day. Because I usually schedule 3 tweets that are very meticulous, and then I also shitpost. I post memes. I talk all sorts of shit, but I literally will tweet about sports. I'll tweet about everything.
But when you say meticulous, is it hard value tweets or process tweets? Can you give me an example of a meticulous tweet?
Competence proving tweets. So tweets where.
So what you tweet today, for example?
So one of the tweets today so I'm gonna skip to the end of our little discussion board, but one of the tweets, this was actually off the hip, but surprisingly, right, is for example, I've invested 30 grand into courses and masterminds and coaches and cohorts, and all of those coaches, cohorts, masterminds, and courses and all sorts of shit, templates, have just culminated into the product that we produce at my agency, right? Everything I create for my clients has a little bit of sauce pulled from all those places. Maybe one course got me 10 different templates on our content, another one's gotten me some sort of Notion dashboard that we use, another one got me a framework for storytelling, Tweets and Clients has helped me with positioning and sawdust and all this thing, pulling it from all these places. I mean, Client Ascension has given us so much on the automation side and operations, all this shit. So this is all stuff I have stuff from Sam Ovens, warm app style.
I wanna talk about that tweet specifically because I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was really smart. And I'm gonna tell you of another tweet I sent out that I thought was kind of smart too. But let's go over the Cardone thing. You had a point over there.
Yeah. So, for me, it's as much as I see a lot of, competitors tweeting very much, in my opinion, the old school style, very well written to show that almost display that they're a good writer, which is great. I consider myself a pretty good writer. But for me, I'd rather put out 30 to 40 actions, I'll call them actions, per day on Twitter than just do 1 or 2 really well written listicle style tweets, right? I'm all in on frequency, and
so an action would be commenting and engaging,
comment, retweet, engaging,
gotcha,
tweeting, threads, all that, all day.
Yeah, I'm big on that one. You don't want to be ignored. A lot of people don't like me in this space, but and some people do like me, but I keep appearing, the tweet hunter thing, and then it's some people block me and we're talking about it still. And then the ghostwriter thing, we got to talk about that. The don't hire a ghostwriter thread. Yeah, we got to talk about it. A lot of people just hated it, but still, I was on the timeline. It was an action, like you say. I've never heard it put it that way, but I like it.
Definitely maximum frequency. I think people undervalue frequency. I think too many people they're playing a passive income. Everyone wants to be a solopreneur. Everyone wants to win their time back. I'm you can keep your fucking time. I want to be on the timeline all fucking day. I am chronically on Twitter. I'm on Twitter. If I'm not in the real world, it's because I'm on Twitter all day, back and forth. I don't even care. You call me addicted, but puts me ahead,
That's right. I want to talk about that tweet you said that I thought was brilliant. I want to cover your tweet, and then I'm going to read your tweet, and you tell me if your logic was kind of the same logic I think you had for this, and then I'm going to go over mine. But for you, I've now invested well over $30,000 on courses for me and my team to round out our product and skills. Courses from Molina, Black Hat Wizard, Andre, Danko, Kieran, and Justin Welsh, and much more. Our clients aren't just investing in an agency, a writer, or a transformation. This is good. They're gaining access to cultivated knowledge from across the Twitterverse to create the ultimate service. Why did you tweet this?
Well, I tweeted that one because, interestingly enough, when I first onboarded my team, and I've had the same team for a really long time now, we're kind of like the Avengers.
It's you and 2 other dudes, right?
Yeah, me, two writers, and my executive assistant, Sonia. I told them from day one, if you ever want a course, I'll buy it for the team and you'll have access. So Kieran Drew just dropped his new course like 2 days ago. One of my writers sent it to me this earlier today and was like, this would be a sick course to have access to. I just instantly bought it. And I just sent them the login information with the company email. And I glazed over the course and boom, found something that I can implement for my clients. So that's why I tweeted it. The thought process is when I was actually, crafting the tweet was I literally invested $30,000, which is much more than I charge clients. So it quite literally is so much, like I have so much more value than what I'm charging. So that was number one, right? Like I'm crafting my offer in a way that it sounds extremely valuable because it is. And then number two is I'm tagging a bunch of big accounts so I get engagement.
That's right. There you go. No, I thought it was really smart. Like I was like, yeah, okay. When are you going to talk about the retweet? I was like, fine, Marcos. But
yeah.
I thought it was smart because you put the bigger accounts and they're going to engage with you. And I retweeted it because, you put me at the top. So it makes me look good. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to keep going. I thought it was really smart. I feel like I got this from this account. I think it's Callicrates. On Twitter, Callicrates_, it's a Hercules flexing. He said that one of the best ways to network, it's don't try to network, but buy their stuff and implement it, get results, then come back and tell them how much it actually worked.
Right.
And that puts you like, you're giving them something, you're giving them that sort of validation, but it's not an implicit ask. So I feel like that tweet was smart. Do you have anything to add about that? Or do you want to go into the next one?
The last podcast didn't go live yet, right?
No, not yet. But by the time this one goes out, you'll be able to see it.
So in that episode, for those who are watching, you should go back. We talk about, especially as a beginner, how to network. And one of the things I said on how to network is I just buy people's stuff and then I go ahead and like be the star student and like I promote it for them. Like almost like affiliate marketing. Like I'll literally get someone's course. If you go back to October, I tweeted out your stuff. I was tweeting out Dan Coe's stuff. I was like, this is the best course I've ever bought in, it was genuinely true at the time. So like, I was like, this course was so valuable. I bought it from Dan Coe. He retweeted me. And I was DMing him like in August or October or something. I joined your paid group way back when, and I was DMing you and
we're here.
Right? Like, and now we're here. Like the way I network is you have to give value, right? And if you're broke, or if you're not cool, you don't have any expertise, you don't have a lot of followers, the only thing you can give them is money. It's a value. Every relationship in business is transactional, as Hormozy would say. And when you're a small fish and you're trying to talk to a big fish, the only thing you have to offer is money. You have nothing else unless you're going to show up.
I'd say social proof. Like to add a little caveat on that, when people say, yo, JK, your video was really good, or I really like this, you're getting a retweet. If you're not asking for it, you're getting a retweet, of course, right? Like I had a guy that said, he summarized a webinar I did in a thread. And I was like, this is what I learned from the Molina webinar. I was like, oh, this is great. I was about to retweet it. But then at the last tweet, he said, by the way, follow me for more tips on XYZ. And I'm like, nah, that's not it. Not going to work. Yeah. Like it's not going to work. The other day I tweeted this. I sent out a screenshot of the folders in which I collect all the tweets and clients testimonials. So it's like e-com and growth and marketing, whatever, right? So, and I tweeted the screenshot of all those folders. And I said, it took me an hour, but I also finally put all the testimonials in folders from all the tweets and clients wins. And then you could see that there were a lot of wins, but you could also see that like, what are the niches that people are in? I thought that was pretty cool because then I keep retweeting it over and over again.
I like that. That reminds me of I feel like you did what I was trying to do, but you did it way better when I tweeted out, when I wrote down all the niches I would work with for coaches and info businesses on a piece of paper and tweeted out the piece of paper. I wrote like 50 different niches, like e-com, fitness, Web3, like all the different coaches that I could think of, and I tweeted it, but it didn't get me any leads. But that's the way that I should have done it, which I'm gonna.
Well, now you can do it. I mean, there's nothing like. Yeah, it really helps. And by the way, like speaking to a certain character, so underrated. Like when they see ghost writers on. No, I don't want to use that example anymore because I burned that bridge.
Here's a good example because you said you wanted to cover positioning and you think you overcomplicated it. And it could be as simple as a gap that nobody's filling, right? Like you said, Tom knees, John sleep, you monetization, right. Me courses and programs. Like that's kind of like filling the gaps that are just, you don't have to be necessarily different or necessarily better. You could literally just fill the gap, right?
Right, exactly. And like, even to go harder on that example, like we're talking about like bios. So the way I feel like a bio should be set on Twitter, it's kind of this children's toy. I don't know if you guys have seen it. You've probably seen it. So it's this children's toy that's like a box and it has holes in the shape of shapes, right? So like, oh, the triangle goes here, the star goes here, the circle goes here, right? So I call that like the peg bio. And I feel like that should be people's bio. Like a peg, like nobody comes through if they're not qualified. For the knee guy, like he's closing a ton of clients and his bio is, I fix knee pain. Like if you don't have knee pain, you don't care. For me, it's if you have more than 3,000 followers, we triple your income. If you have less than 3,000 followers, go to somebody else. I can't really help you. For you, it's what's your bio now?
Now we help coaches, course creators, and experts add 50 to 100K a month on Twitter.
Yeah, there you go. So fitness bros are not going to follow you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I also have like my social proof there, like $1 million plus in sales and 1 billion impressions for info businesses. So like very specific. I used to have like something super edgy and I was like, why would I do this? And
You had #1 Twitter marketing agency on earth. Building.
Yeah. And I thought about it and I was like, I just asked myself, like, which one do I think is going to get me more clients? That's all I asked myself. And I think this one will.
I think the question you're asking is the right one. Get me more clients, not getting more followers, which is, for example, software like Birdie. Like I was using birdie.so, which is basically an A/B testing for your bio. But then I thought, is this the number I want to be tracking? You know what I mean? Like, is this actually what I want? Then I switched to like UTMs and actually seeing like, am I getting qualified people? Just by the way you asked this question, I was like, this guy hates indie hackers. So here's what it goes. You asked me, I want to know your thoughts on solopreneurship versus a real business. And I'm like, so solopreneurship is not a real business? Okay, so where did this come from?
I just see a lot of people selling themselves so short. Like they get into business, let's just take ghostwriting. They become a ghostwriter. They get like 2 clients and then they're like, now I'm going to teach other ghostwriters. Now I'm going to drop an info product. You didn't even do anything yet. Like you didn't do anything. And I just think this is like the industry is really filled with garbage gurus and a lot of poor, like low effort education. And I think it messes up a lot of beginners. And I feel like it gets harder and harder every day for a beginner to find the right place to be in terms of like a mentorship or something like that. It's just there's so far and few between the good ones, and I think a lot of that comes from just like people get to 10K a month and then just want to teach people how to get to 10K a month. And this is why I've implemented the 10X rule for people, and I tweeted this. I'm like, don't invest in any mentor unless they're 10 times what you want to be. Chances are like they got lucky. Like business is very much like timing. And if they've only gotten to 10 or 20K a month, there's a high likelihood that they probably can't teach you how to get to 10 or 20K a month.
I like that reasoning. For me, offers, it's the greater the claims and specificity of the offer, the less I believe it. You know, so to me, the less hard the offer is, the more of a hint it is that it's probably a good offer, right? So if you go to Hormoz's website, you go to acquisition.com, it's, are you ready to scale? That's the offer. It's not this happens or your money back or I'll fly to Bali for you, right? It's like, so like the more people add it to the offer, the more skeptical I am of it, which is why I do like it more when the offer is vague. So now we changed it to, we'll triple your income. We don't have any guarantees. We don't have any time frame. We just say this is the North Star we're aiming for. And we have noticed personally that once we removed all those 1% tweaks instead of the 50% tweaks, we started getting way better lead flow. Have you found something similar?
Yeah, something like that. Like we have really just dialed in on like ideal prospect and like very minuscule, like kind of what you're doing, like a lot of micro adjustments instead of like big changes. I think that's where the money's made at a certain level. Like at your level, like it would lose you more money to make a drastic change than it would gain you. So like constantly split testing and getting 1% better here and there on your positioning. I think that's what we do a lot with bigger clients who have a lot of followers already. Clients that are typically already are kind of low. It's very much like what's going to stick, right? I saw this is actually a good point. I saw a really good tweet from Jeremy Moser, who does Instagram for info businesses, right? And he was saying like, you could post 90 videos and get nothing, like no engagement, but you could then post one and go viral and it sticks and now you have an angle. and you could stick on that angle and go full steam on that angle, right? So that's kind of my mindset, is like, especially with earlier people in earlier stage of business and follower count, is be more diverse, find which angle is going to stick, and then go all in on that angle, instead of just telling them like, we're going to do this angle, because I don't fucking know. I don't know what angle is going to work for you, right? Every person's different. Everyone has different inflection in their voices. Everybody looks different, came from a different background. Like, you have no idea what the market's going to resonate with.
I love that, because you know what the market resonates with, because it tells it back to you. So let me give you an example. I invent 20 terms a day, and most of them are bullshit. Sometimes all of them are bullshit, right? I try to go with the false beliefs positioning, missing piece positioning. Nobody knows what the fuck that is, right? But then I mentioned whale bait, and when I see somebody copying whale bait, I'm like, oh, this is a term worth talking about. I mentioned sawdust, and I didn't invent sawdust, right? It's a common concept. But then you said it, and I'm like, oh, it makes sense. Likes and Cash, right? That's when it was born. Likes and Cash was born from like a tweet by Jack Butcher where he said, engagement ain't cash. And I said, that's cool, but it could be shorter, right? So likes and then people started saying back to me. So to me, that's when you say, what does the market resonate with? Of course, it's what gets virality. But when other people start telling you like the bullshit that you invented in your head, that's how you know it's not bullshit. It's something you could use. It's probably something.
Yeah, that reminds me of how like I came up with the birdhouse, because you were there when I started, right? I actually started as, I was founder brands, founder tweets, like something else. Like I had all sorts of names and none of them stuck, right? But when I switched to the birdhouse, I got people telling me that this was a sick name. People really resonated with the branding. I got people, then other competitors copying like my exact structure. Like, I'm not going to say their exact names, but basically like if I'm the birdhouse, there's like a bird villa and a bird apartment and a bird condo. like everybody actually just like stole the exact verbiage of my ghostwriting agency at the time. So I was like, must be good. So now I have hats and I wear it to all the events I go to, and I wear them on the podcast, and I bought my whole team hats. Even my assistant in fucking Ukraine is getting a hat. Like, we're all in on it, right? So like that's a good point on the market will tell you.
Yeah, they tell you, like they reflect it back at you. And let me guess, the people who copied you, all ghostwriters?
Oh, of course. And, you know, funny enough is like I forced people to like switch niches. Like a lot of people, this is interesting. Like this is like pseudoscience, but I told everybody, I'm like, niche down. Like, and I literally will tell people, I'm like, you're not going to beat me at my niche. So get a fucking get another niche. I'm like, go to B2B, go to Web3, go to SaaS. But like, if you're going to be my info niche with my similar name, like good luck. Like I'll tell them straight up, like, you might as well go to like B&H, because I'm getting lead flow from other niches, and I have to refer them out, right? I refer out ghostwriting and Twitter marketing, Twitter ads. I refer people out every other day, and I don't have anyone to refer them out to. So for me, it's like if you want to just niche down in a niche that's not my niche, I got you. I'll give you leads.
Oh, there you go. Well, okay, so we're gonna turn our hats back. We're gonna be the bad guy now. Okay, we're gonna be the bad guy, and I'm gonna be the bad guy as well. I'm gonna put on my hat of the bad guy.
The villains.
So here's I'm me being the bad guy here. You know who's the best fun? Oh, you're doing it too. Yeah. Okay, so this is the bad guy hat. So you know who's the best funnel ever for tweets and clients? It's other growth programs. It's amazing how well this works, because they end up with this huge audience and they can't monetize it. And then they're like, they come to us and they're like, we just grew, but that was it, right? Like there's not good people. That was kind of it, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, this is great. Like all the growth programs, all the growth gurus, we're partners and they don't even know it. They're my best lead flow sources. They don't even know it. It's great. And all shitty ghostwriters, by the way, for you, they're publicity for you. They don't even know it. You know, that's how good positioning is. It allows you to harness positive and negative energy.
I did two things in this regard. One, if you haven't seen my new angle, like I just started quote tweeting big figures that I think have ghostwriters, and I'm just like, fire your ghostwriter.
Oh, like Andrew?
I like quote tweeted Andrew Tate. I'm like, you got to fire this ghostwriter and hire us. Like this is terrible, because you could tell it's like so bad. Two is like I had a call today, right, with a guy who had 10,000 followers. And I go to his Tweemex. If you don't know Tweemex, the extension, Tweet100bot, you know what Tweemex is. It'll tell you all their top threads. And the top thread, 20 Chrome extensions that feel illegal to know about, 15 visuals that will change your philosophy in life. Like, he told me who his ghostwriter was. He was like, yeah, I have all these followers, but like, now what?
Exactly. And I'm just like, oh, great. I wanted to lead into another segment, which is affiliate partnerships. And I thought, yeah, I mean, some of them maybe pissed at me, but there's also probably something that could be done. So we get some lead flow. I don't know if I should reveal this alpha, but here we go. Welcome to the Relax and Cash podcast. This is where we don't hold any punches. But we get a lot of lead flow from other growth programs. And they're like, yeah, but like I just grew and that was it. And I'm thinking there's a way in which I can profit from this and still save the relationship with those guys. And we don't have to like fight. So here's what I did. I went to a program this week and I got on a call with them. And I told them, yo, some dudes from your program came to a sales calls. Here's what they said. And I'm like, what's your weakest link? They're like, monetization. I'm like, okay, let's do something. When it comes to affiliate partnerships, like I feel like everybody messes it up. It's like, yeah, just send this affiliate link. Just refer me people. Of course, I'll refer you, Marcos. Don't worry about it. But it's like there's no system, right? Nobody has a system for that. So what I did was, okay, how about this? You can use me in your sales pitch, right? Say that I'm going to be there in your program or whatever, and I'm going to cover monetization. And I just have one call out of the many that you'll host. Free. Like that's it. All I ask is that in the end, you let me pitch it. So right there, I got a plug, for people who have growth. He has a system, an affiliate system in which I can come in and pitch my thing that adds value to their offer because it allows them to solve the objection of monetization, but it also gets me lead flow. And he's like, what would you do it for free? I'm like, this is why, because I'm going to pitch my thing. And then I thought, this is kind of similar to what Marcos did in Tweets and Clients. You became a coach and you're getting a few clients right from there. And I'm like, oh, it's smart. It's the way to get like affiliate partnerships isn't to be like, yo, please refer me, because it's then you're giving an ask. It's actually giving with an ask implicit in the give, as in like, I'll give everything to you, but like, by the way, like I'm just going to pitch my thing. But after I've already done all this work for you that will benefit you, like you'd be stupid not to take this deal.
100%. It's just like kind of how we were talking about like transactional relationships. Like relationships, a lot of times it just makes sense. Like the Tweets and Clients, like me becoming a coach and you guys helping me, if you guys get leads that are better for me than for you, that was like natural. It wasn't like, it wasn't like,
that's the word I'm looking for. Natural. Affiliate partnership should be natural. Yeah.
I didn't ask for that. I didn't ask. You didn't ask. It was just like so obvious that we were like, why are we doing this yet? Right? It was already naturally going to happen. Like, yeah. I've referred people to Tweets and Clients the last 2 weeks. They come on a call with me and I'm like, you're not really ready for me. So like, you need to like build a foundation, right? Go to Tweets and Clients, build your foundation, get to $30K a month, just like I did, then come back to me after, and I'll get you to like $1 million.
Yeah, for anybody listening, it's what other businesses could blend naturally to you, not competitively, because a lot of affiliate partnerships is like, between writer and writer. It's like, oh, you like send it to your list, but like you want to monetize your list as a writer, you're not gonna send another writer's course. Like it doesn't make sense. But like, where would it make sense? So let's say, I don't know, you're a shoe repair company, right? Where would it make sense? You wouldn't talk to other shoe repair companies. You would talk to the shoe shop, right? Yeah. Like who doesn't repair? It's like, oh, by the way, if you use our shoe repair card, you get a 50% discount on that place, right? It adds a value to the offer, right? So like, where other offers can you blend in naturally is like the way to do affiliate partnerships, and give them a system. Don't just tell me, please refer me business. Tell them at this day, at this time, you send this and this is what happens, right? And make it easy for them so that they're like, you mean like you do all the work and I get all the cash and the value? It's like, yeah. Like that's how it works, right? Like you being inside Tweets and Clients doesn't cost anything, but you get access to the lead flow, which is just such a natural conversation to have, such a natural transition.
I'm interested in your take on the different styles of coaching programs, especially like a lot of people listening, right? Like everybody's usually on the fence about something. You've done them all, right? You've done a one-on-one, you've done one-to-many, like Tweets and Clients, you've done a free group, you've done a low ticket group, maybe you've done a regular course. Like what is your thought process when doing all of these things? What is the pros of like a one-to-many like Tweets and Clients now versus, for example, a low ticket or, for example, a one-on-one? Like, what do you think the pros and cons are, and why did you land on what you have now at Tweets? Would you call it a one-to-many or more like a cohort? What would you classify it as?
Group coaching.
Group
program.
Coaching. Yeah, it's like
community.
Cohorts are like quarterly, right? Yeah,
cohorts, they have a definite end. Tweets and Clients doesn't have a definite start. You kind of can join in whenever. To me, it was, again, there's many ways to skin the cat here, because I wanted to build a low ticket community after I saw what Justin Welsh and Dan Cole were doing, which is like, the main thing was recurrent revenue. And it's like, oh, these many people times $40 a month, $30 a month is going to turn into this. And then I'm going to be able to capture a bigger share of the market. But personally, I just really didn't like it. You've heard this analogy, but I'm going to tell it again. I feel like as entrepreneurs, we have three resources. We have bronze, silver, and gold, which is bronze is money, time is silver, and gold is attention. It's where you focus your attention.
Let's see if the market lets that one stick.
Yeah. And to me, when I was driving the low ticket thing, I was getting a little bit of bronze money, but I was trading gold for it. It was so hard. Everybody was asking questions and I had to come in. And it's like people were paying cheap money for expensive help. And I wasn't willing to do that. I wasn't willing to like attend every single questions, because if I'm going to answer the same question, I might as well talk to the guy that's paying me more. So that's why I ditched it, because I didn't want to like focus so much attention, because it will attract a lot of people.
You were making good money though.
With the community?
Yeah, it must have been like 20, 30 grand a month.
No, it was like 10.
Oh, only like 10? Fair
it was
enough.
like 8 or 10. Not to say that that's a small amount of money, but like it could have been way bigger if I focused my attention on not building that and building my single business instead. So to me, it was like it didn't really make sense, because I was trading gold in order to get bronze back. So courses, I still don't believe either in low ticket courses unless you have like Andrew Tate volume. Right, unless you have Dan Koe could pull it off, for example, too, right? Because Dan Koe is like a celebrity. Did I tell you that I was introduced as Dan Koe's friend? These
That's
fuckers.
Hilarious.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
But
you deserve it.
Yeah, thanks. I'm gonna go back to the good guy hat. I believe that if you had, for example, a lead magnet, a cheap course, and a high ticket program, whatever offer it is, even if it's coaching, a community, or whatever, it's high ticket, I believe that you would make more money if you made the course free and use that as the lead magnet, and that would lead to the high ticket thing. Because what is the course, like $50, $150, right? It's not gonna be like life-changing money. It's gonna be like feel-good money. For me, there's only two price points now in my business: zero or expensive. And that's it. Like
Hormozy. That's kind of how I've been thinking a lot, because I've been wanting to do like helping people build the foundations of an info business, how to set up a school, how to record videos. Like
for a minute, I was like, "You're gonna teach ghostwriters?"
No,
Marcus,
no,
please, no, not again. No,
I've been getting DMs all the time about it, and like I've talked about it, and I've totally thought about it. And I'm just like, it's such little money. Like I just don't want to work with like beginners, honestly. I'd rather work with like top people that have like, you know, a sense of direction. But
why?
I really it's just like, for me, like business is just a little bit more than about the money. Like it's about like actually enjoying what I do, and I get no enjoyment out of working with beginners, and I know you don't either. It sucks so bad to work with beginners. It's not fun.
What do you think is it exactly? What do you think it is?
You know what it is? It's that knowing that 90% of people are gonna fail anyway. It just bothers me to talk to like, I'm just like talking to like, it's almost like talking to a wall 90% of the time. You just like, in general, in entrepreneurship, or what's the stat? 90% of people fail. So that means if you just apply that stat to your coaching, 90% of the people you talk to are going to fail, or they're going to get mediocre results. And like, that bothers me. Like, I only want to work with people that are going to achieve, I want 100% success rate. Like in an agency, I can get 100% success rate. You know what I mean? Because it's like everything is back to me, and it's not just my clients. So if it's teaching, like you could have the best course in the world, and Alex Hormozy talks about this. It's like you could have the best course in the world, but it's just not the right time, not the right person, and they're still gonna fail, and then they're gonna call you a scam. It's like, I don't even want to have to deal with any of that. Like I'd rather just work with people who are already successful, and then just help amplify them to reach their mission.
I like it. I don't know. I've heard this on a podcast, but the completion rate on Udemy courses, it's like 7%. Or like it's single digits. It's very low. Bad. Maybe you could do the best course in the world, but still not. It's not that your course sucks. It's that like just people don't complete things. And I'm like, I was done, man. Like I'm gonna tell you. So I have my crew of friends in Guatemala. There's like 2 or 3 of them that are like, yeah, like we're gonna make money, and they're hustling, man. Like these guys are killing it. But I had another group of friends, you know, my high school, college friends, and I was really trying to push it into like them. It's like, yeah, hey guys, there's money here. Like let's come, let's make money together. But like they wouldn't. And at some point I just gave up. That's it. Like, sorry, man. Like you don't want it. You don't want to do it. Like why? And then my friend, he had the same situation in which he got to a relative level of success. And then he wanted to like bring a friend along. He's like, bro, we should totally bring him in. He has potential. I'm like, don't push him. Don't push him. Because if he wants it, he'll come. But don't push it. right? Like at beginners, there has to be that will. And
Right.
I was just tired of trying to instill that will in people.
Yeah, I hear that.
Okay, so how about courses and info products and one-on-ones? What do you think? How did you land in yours?
Yeah. So for me, it's like I've bought a lot of courses growing up. I'm 25 now. I started this in like when I was like 19. So I bought a lot of those like lower ticket courses, and they just don't do anything for me. Like the group coaching, and I often relate tweets and clients to kind of like an MIT. You're with a bunch of people who are doing the same thing, and you're learning something very specific. Everyone has like a little bit of a different major. Like there's some coaches, some agency guys. Everyone has a little bit of a different major, but you're going through a proven high octane, almost like a university. Like that's what I love. I'd much rather be in something like that, and I found in like crazy success with this level, with this kind of thing, like in Tweets and Clients or Client Ascension. What I've come down to is that these low ticket $150 Justin Welsh, Dan Coe, Kieran, they're very good to learn one specific thing, like watching a video on how to tie a tie. You learn a thing, right? You learn a thing. So in Dan Coe, for example, 2-hour writer, like what did I learn in there? I learned how to do content repurposing and like a content ecosystem. In Kieran's thing, I learned really well how to format a story on Twitter. One specific thing, that's how I buy the courses, right? A lot of these courses teach other stuff. They're meant to teach other stuff, but the way I buy is to learn one thing. And that is going to give me my ROI without you having to sink 30 hours into the course, which is usually what they have, right? They're usually like 30, 40 hours. Like, I don't want to waste 30, 40 hours of my time. Like, you know what I mean? What do we charge for hour consulting, right? Like, that's a lot of time to invest into a course that if you're paying 150 or 200 bucks for, and then you invest 30 hours of your time, it wasn't worth, you didn't pay 200 bucks. You paid thousands if you include your time, right? So I just kind of buy the course, find the thing that I wanted, and then just like learn it, and then boom, I'll just apply it.
That's a technical way of looking at it. You know what I found better than courses and nonfiction books personally, bro? Hack. Biographies or autobiographies. Hack.
Yeah.
Absolute hack. It's crazy. Dude, let me tell you something about the Mongol. Have you ever heard the Genghis Khan, read the Genghis Khan biography?
I know a bit about Genghis, but I didn't read the biography. Tell me though.
Bro, that dude, he stepped into a building like twice in his life. It's always on TVs and riding horses. Like the dude was like born riding a horse, and there's like so many lessons, as in, for example, right? When he went to villages, he gave them the option, like kind of what you said right now, actually. He gave them kind of the option, as in like, okay, well, there's an army and we're gonna kill you, or you could be an ally. Right? And then they turned into allies, but then they kept them weak. That was the craziest thing. So for the Mongols, all they ate was like milk, cheese, and meat. But on the villages, all they left was like grains and vegetables, right? So that when war was coming in, they would start like shelling them meat and and eggs and stuff. But like meanwhile, they didn't want any trouble. They'd keep them with vegetables and grains. So you can use those little examples and just extrapolate to many things. Like look up like who has like the life you want. If they have a biography, there you go. You have like a huge like blueprint you could follow from that. It's so cool. It's so cool. Like filter by your personality type and look at what they did, right? And then you can get their biography. So I don't know. I just learned more from that than courses.
That means I'm gonna get the Shakespeare, if there's a Shakespeare biography, because he's like the famous INFP. But I've read Stephen King's biography like a little earlier last year. Just finished Shoe Dog, Phil Knight. And I'm now on Sam Walton's Made in America. So I'm on this grind. Like I love memoirs and biographies, but something I pulled from Shoe Dog, Phil Knight, is that, and this is where I really got into product. I've just been all in on product ever since I read this book. Like the way Phil Knight and Bowerman, who were the co-founders, owners of Nike when it started, it was called Blue Ribbon back in the day. They were experimenting all the time with their shoes. They were putting rubber into waffle makers to create the soles. They were going to factories in Mexico and New Hampshire and Tokyo and Taiwan, and they were just testing all sorts of things. The Cortez, all different shoes, the Tiger. They experimented so much, and that's how their product got good, is because they just constantly iterate after they get client feedback from their track athletes, clients. And they would just, how did your knees feel? Did you run faster? Is it lighter, etc.? And that's how they built Nike, right? So that's how I've just taken that approach into the Birdhouse. And this is where I literally DM'd you like 2 weeks ago, right after I finished the book, and I was like, there's so much we gotta improve in Tweets and Clients. And you did. Like Tweets and Clients has added like 50 features.
Yeah, product is the main thing. From like you're struggling with lead flow, create a better product, customers become your lead flow, right? They talk to others. We're struggling with sales, create a better product, your pitch is better. You're struggling with content, make a better product. From that sawdust, you create the content. Struggling with reputation, create a better product, people talk about you. It was just from the way I started my day. Before I used to think I wake up, first thing I did, tweet. So I thought marketing is the main thing, sales is the main thing. I now focus on product first. And from what I create with product, that's what comes out into the world.
Yeah. No, I want to say one more thing, and then I wanted to get to the retweets.
Go.
So real quick, this just reminds me, and I talked to Andre Hakal about this, but my version of the 3 Ps is people, product, and purpose. If you just focus everything on product, being a people person, so don't be an asshole, people like you, and then having an actual purpose that matters, that people can resonate with, you'll never fail.
What's your purpose?
My purpose is to change the education industry because I don't want it to do people dirty like it did me. We'll talk more about that in episode 75.
Yeah. We'll do that in the next one. Maybe we could do them more often. I like doing these things, man. I love it.
We could do them all the time. I mean, we're never going to run out of topics.
Yeah, it's fun. But retweets, go.
Yeah, you said you really wanted to ask me about retweets. So
how do you do retweets? Like, how do you control, like, because the people that sell retweets personally are just hustle mindset motivation accounts, and I've seen. So I'm like,
yeah,
I don't want that.
The short answer is don't use any paid outreach or paid promotion or anything like that if you are B2B. You're hurting yourself. If you're trying to reach out to other businesses, like, they're not following these accounts. The business people are following the JKs and the Black Hat Wizards and the Andres and the Me's. Like, that's who business people are following, or like the Sampars and the Hormozis, right? Consumers are following these hustle mindset accounts because they're trying to break out of the fucking matrix. So the simple answer is if you're B2C, that the more dialed in answer is kind of how we said the 90 pieces of content and then one sticks and you have an angle, right? Don't amplify. And I learned this from Nick Rogers and Logan Fitz. I learned a lot from everybody, right? From Nick Rogers and Logan Fitz, they don't do any paid promotion, no ads, no retargeting, no nothing, until they have an angle that they know is going to stick. So they're going to take your content and they're going to see what sticks first. So if you sign and you already have an angle that sticks, then you amplify, right? So you have to know what angle is going to work first, because if you just try to put a bunch of traffic on a shitty angle, nobody's going to resonate anyway.
How do you find that? How do you find that angle, like, practically?
The best way to do this is market research, in my opinion. Depending, let's just, if we had an example offer like fitness, right? Who is killing it in fitness on Twitter? Solbra, Alex Freinberg, Dango. What are their angles now? So, like, are they targeting 30-year-olds who are overweight? There's the one that's really popular is entrepreneurs who don't have time but still want to get jacked. Another one is for people like Solbra. It's super esoteric, like eating fucking like raw liver, and they eat books or something. I don't know what they do. That side of Twitter is fucking nuts.
I saw a thread that was a fitness coach. He's like really, really hardcore right wing, I think. And he goes, hey, this is the thread so you can get traps like Michelle Obama. Oh my God. He sent a picture. Dude, Michelle Obama's traps are huge.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that.
If to close this out, like, I just want to say one thing. Like, I don't care how healthy it is. I'm never eating fucking raw beef or some shit. Like, you guys are fucking nasty. Like, these guys are disgusting. Like, they're eating
how about raw fish though?
beef.
Like sashimi, your salmon. That's good.
That's meant to be eaten that way. There's just no way that you enjoy eating raw ground beef. That is gross, and you guys are all kidding.
I gotta get the quote on this podcast. He has a huge, incredibly funny story on this, but we'll look into that. But yeah, thank you for coming, man. If you want to hear more, go to the Likes and Cash podcast. You can find Marcos at it's Marcos Ruiz. That's Ruiz on Twitter, and we'll see you in the next one. Adios.
Cheers.